I legitimately got chills there. Like, I'm kind of speechless. You're telling me the first song was directly tied to our family? Mic check 1 2. This is Alex, and I've got Connor in the hot seat. Connor,
What's going on? I'm excited for this Stax of Wax episode.
you probably kind of anticipate what I'm about to ask and kind of what we're about to get into, but I'm going to set a stage for you, okay? We walk in to an apartment in downtown Mulvane. Dad is up the stairs in his room, and he has in his room a CD player, a boom box that I got for Christmas, and that boom box is silver and black.
I can vividly remember it right now.
Now, for those of you who are listening at home, this was a crucial memory for our childhood. We grew up quite literally with Cardinal jerseys on us. We were thrown in Cardinal jerseys within minutes of us being born.
Like instead of, just picture this, instead of a blanket, we were legitimately wrapped up in a Lou Brock jersey that my dad had.
Yeah. So St. Louis runs deep in our veins. Our grandmother grew up in St. Louis. We have a lot of ties to the city, not just through baseball. And our dad, and this was like early internet where like it was high-speed internet, okay? You remember this? And he found out about this hip-hop artist.
Say that again.
Our dad, he was kind of new. He was on the new high-speed internet thing, you know? Like, there was dial-up that we had for a really long time, and then when he moved to his apartment, he got high-speed internet, and he found this website called Napster, and this website called eBay. That's ebay.com. Like the auction site.
Yeah.
You know, people go on there a lot now.
That you go on. It's almost like Amazon, just a little sketchier. You guys know what eBay is.
Back then, though, like groundbreaking. Absolutely groundbreaking.
Yeah.
So he had done some research on the internet, and he found this hip-hop artist from St. Louis. And he had a group, and the group was called Nelly and the St. Lunatics.
Immediately.
And he's like he found them on Napster. Honestly, he probably just searched St. Louis on Napster,
as he does as we did.
As he like every St. Louis everything. You name it, he put it in there.
He put STL in there. He was way ahead of his time.
He was way ahead of his time. So he found on Napster Nelly and the St. Lunatics. And then he went over to eBay and he purchased Nelly's solo album. Okay? Now, this memory starts in around 2000, let's say 4. Okay? So,
a long time ago.
If I remember correctly, the album that he played was Country Grammar.
That rings true to my ears.
And the song that he played when we were at the foot of the stairs on the boombox, it's you can find me in St. Louis
where they can play rained all day.
Nah.
So
we're like, what is this song? It has St. Louis in the song. It blew our minds.
Is that your actual first remembrance of that song?
Yes.
You want to know my first remembrance of that song?
Yeah.
Or like him, like actually, like.
Am I fabricating? Did I fabricate this?
I don't know. You were older than me, so you probably actually, that might have been the first time you remember it.
Yeah.
But the first time that I remember is he picked me up from like Bridges or whatever after school, and it was like, I just remember he's like, just listen to this, and he popped in a CD, and I was in the back seat. He bumped up the volume
in his Alero,
and I don't know if you were there. Maybe you were. So you may have had the the first memory at the apartment. But
Yeah.
I that's the first time I remember is he played that song in his Valero, and I just lost my shit because I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Like, what is this,
Like,
right?
yeah, I was like, St. Louis is on a rap song. What's going on here?
So, whichever introduction we had first, obviously that stuck with us a little bit.
It stuck quite a bit.
So much so that, my now wife, girlfriend at the time, several years, basically when I was a freshman in college, she bought me tickets for her and I to go see Nelly at a casino near our hometown.
How sketchy does that sound?
As weird as that sounds. And Connor, and I've told you this because it won you over, right? It was one of the best concerts I had ever seen because, guys, I'm not even joking, all of the Saint Lunatics were with him.
But you know what has revitalized Nelly? This is in 2020 when there's not really much to look forward to. Nelly and Budweiser did a collab. We're not sponsored by either one of them.
We're not sponsored by Nelly. We're not sponsored by the city of St. Louis, Budweiser, or the Cotillion, or anything
that we're mentioning. But Nelly came out and partnered with Budweiser, and he came out with a beer, and on the front it says Nelly in bold letters on a Budweiser can, as you guys have many of you all have probably seen. And
Google it if you haven't seen it. It is in commemoration of that Country Grammar album I was referencing a little bit earlier.
Everything just comes full circle.
And it has a bunch of lyrics from his albums and his record label, and it's a really well put together can, I'm not gonna lie. But
to be honest, that's only judgment by two guys that have a love for St. Louis and a love for Nelly. So the can might not actually be that cool to some people, but it is just the pure nostalgic in it. Yeah.
So I want to break it down a little bit, and you and I got in a little bit of a conversation earlier this year.
Yeah.
And you called me and you said, "Alex, we've got Nelly wrong this whole time." You said Nellyville's not his best album.
All right.
Country Grammar is not his best album. What did you think his best album was?
Well, I think
Are you rescinding that statement now?
I'm rescinding the statement,
Okay.
but
Okay.
quite frankly, it's still a great album. Nelly Sweat. This is my recommendation for you guys out there. If you're actually if you're actually still listening to this, and if you're interested, you should go look up Nelly Sweat. The album starts off with Heart of a Champion, which is one of my favorite Nelly songs of all time. Then goes to Na 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 Na. It's just titled Na 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 Na. And then Flap Your Wings. This is pure nostalgia for you guys as well. If you guys played NBA Street Ball Volume 2, you guys know that Nelly was featured in that game as a playable character.
Not just Nelly, the whole Saint Lunatics.
So that was pretty huge for us. That's one of the reasons why that game is so important to us, and that's something that I'm sure we'll talk about later on in this conversation. But American Dream actually has a sound effects from that game
Off the Heezy, right?
Yeah, and so I just thought that was really cool. I discovered that there's something new that you can listen to within each album, like not just Nelly, but like in music in general. I think that's just the coolest thing is you can listen to something over and over again, and you get something different out of it every single time.
Yeah,
and I'm not that I don't have that much of a wide variety of music, but like even in my small variety of music, I still find things to like listen to that I get something new out each time. But no, Nelly Sweat, I think it's one of his most underrated albums. Going down the line, he has Spider-Man on there, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. And Down in the Water, it really reminds me of...
That's got some awesome horns on it, right? It's got some really good trumpet.
It's like... It's just... It's the combination of having family from St. Louis, growing up a diehard Cardinal fan and a fan of the city, having a rapper come from St. Louis. That's mainly why I think we just fell in love with him, because it was like, we just thought St. Louis was just Cardinal baseball.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to like grow up with something like that. But I think Nelly Sweat is one of his most underrated albums.
Now, I need you just briefly, because I've got a couple other things before we wrap this up, be thinking about 5 songs, a 5-song playlist while I kind of talk about this. Think of a 5-song playlist to recommend people to play Nelly and to get your taste of Nelly. Not as an artist, but like what songs mean the most to you.
To me, it might.
To you.
Okay.
So
I'll have to think about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
give it a thought real quick. Now, a couple other interesting ties. We have a cousin who lived in St. Louis.
Oh, this is a good story, actually.
He lived in St. Louis. He is now living... I have no idea where he's at. He's kind of a free spirit. He has a band. This dude is he's crazy. Danny, if you're listening, I miss you, man.
He ain't listening.
He's not listening.
No.
But that's okay. So, fun fact about Danny. He was a sound mix producer.
Yeah.
And he went on tour with the great mom rock band Train during their Drops of Jupiter.
Hey, Soul Sister.
Their Drops of Jupiter tour.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a little fun fact. He had a recording studio called Red Light Recording in St. Louis. And the really cool thing, and it blew our minds at the time, there is a cell phone. Like, you can hear a phone call on Nelly's Nellyville. And Cedric the Entertainer is on that. And Murphy Lee's on the phone call. And they're calling to Nelly's voicemail.
You should actually go listen to this, because once you hear this next part, you're going to want to.
That phone dial, voicemail, that whole phone interaction, that
conversation,
that whole phone conversation, it occurs at the beginning of the album, middle, and end of the album. Like, it's like an intro, outro, and like kind of middle type thing. That was recorded at our cousin's studio.
And we were able to actually go to that studio.
We held that phone. Like,
how freaking, like, honestly, that's so cool.
And that's like music history.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I don't know, that was just insane. So yeah, we've got a little personal family tie.
A little tie to the old Nelly.
To the album.
Yeah.
Now, one other tidbit.
Well, hang on. Was that on Nellyville, or was that on just like the album Country? I think it was on Country Grammar.
Was Cedric? No,
Yeah.
Cedric was on Nellyville.
Was he?
Yeah.
I'm going to do a little fact check.
So, if you guys know me, which obviously if you're listening to these early episodes, you probably know me. Nelly is up there as one of my favorite artists, but my all-time favorite band is Aerosmith. Now, another layer to this lasagna, my first favorite band was NSYNC. And my first CD I ever bought was Britney Spears.
What a wide variety there.
If you can believe this, and I still argue that this is the greatest Super Bowl halftime show of all time.
When what? This was 03?
This was Super Bowl 35 in 2001. It was Nelly, Britney Spears, NSYNC, and Aerosmith.
That's a lineup for
and
you.
They played Walk This Way. And in the middle of Walk This Way, Joe Perry is shredding. Nelly sprints on stage with a half Baltimore Orioles, half whoever they were playing jersey, and he starts rapping
Orioles. He
country
says Orioles.
grammar. Did I say Orioles?
You said he says
Baltimore Ravens.
Was that? Let me
Wow.
just keep going. I'm gonna fact check you on. What was that? Super Bowl 35.
Super Bowl
You got
35.
me cracked up. You shows you how much we pay attention to some NFL.
So, but
is
no,
funny.
Nelly starts going,
You know-
I know.
We're gonna get copyright.
But no, it just blew my mind. And like, obviously, fast forward a couple years when we were first introduced to Nelly for the first time.
That was a big thing, man.
I don't know.
crazy.
It just hypes me up. That I love. I rewatch it every year.
Super Bowl comes around. You are re-watching. I fact checked you
Okay.
on Cedric the Entertainer.
Okay.
He was on Country Grammar. He was on the very, very, very first album.
Intro is on.
Is on.
I apologize, guys. I thought it was Nellyville this whole time.
But bigger significance. That was his first album, right?
That was Nelly's first album. His first album was Nelly and the Saint Lunatics Free City.
Okay, his first ever standalone album.
Yes.
This is big. His first ever album and his first ever track had that ring on it. His first ever single track and single album had that ring on it.
You're I legitimately got chills there. Like, I'm kind of speechless.
Like I'm looking at it right now.
So you're telling me a album that is celebrating its 20th anniversary on a Budweiser can, the first song on that legendary album from a legendary artist from a city that we love was directly tied to our family?
Hey, you learn something new every day, and this is what Stax of Wax is all about. It's not only about Alex finding things out, or about you guys finding things out, but it's about Alex finding things out.
This is what it's all about, guys.
That's actually pretty impressive. That's insane. That's pretty wild. Like, it doesn't mean much to anyone else, but that's actually pretty freaking cool.
Huh.
Like, thinking about that is so cool.
Let's get back into those 5 songs before we wrap this up.
That was stupid.
Do you have 5 songs that perfectly encompass what Nelly means to you from his track list? And then I'll follow up with a couple of my favorite ones, and then we'll call this a wrap.
Can we go back and forth? Because there's a few, like, I'll say one and then you say one, because quite frankly, there's a few that I have in the back of my head, but I can't think of what they're called. My first one, however, it's plain and simple. It's Country Grammar. Not because of him, but because when I hear that song, I literally get so hyped.
So what it is for me, obviously, I've got a little bit of a music background, being in band and stuff. The percussion hits at the beginning of that song do something to my adrenaline that not many songs actually do. And then just listening to the song, there's the subtle xylophone in it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's so good.
It's one of his best songs. That's a no-brainer. Is that on your list as well?
So that one definitely is on my list. This one might be a little bit of a shock for you as my first recommendation.
I actually think I know, because I've got it queued up right here too. Let's say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Nobody knows. Okay. Nope. So okay, so you go on with yours.
Yeah. That's so good. That's funny.
That's on yours too.
That's I forgot about that one, but that one definitely would be on my
Okay,
list.
so Air
How do I
Force
remember?
Ones, right?
Air Force Ones. Okay, so Air Force Ones was a song that sound wise again blew my mind when I first listened to it because I had a CD player. I had a Walkman CD player, and I remember listening to Air Force One for the first time. I had my headphones on. And the intro to that song has this laser. That's the only way I know how to describe that sound is like a laser.
I
And
so badly want to play it right now, but we'd get copyrighted.
yeah, and it goes from your right ear to your left ear, and then your left ear to your right ear.
Yeah.
And then it has this hard. And I'm like, oh my word. And then just the flow, and then I love when Nelly brings in the Saint Lunatics on his music. But yeah, that one definitely I think is probably like number one. If you want to know what Nelly songs I like, Air Force One is right up there for me.
See, in my first one that I did was Country Grammar, but that is not the most significant to me. Mm-hmm. My next one is Nobody Knows. That no one. I've played this song for my friends, and they're like, "What is this?" They don't understand. I don't know why, but kind of getting a little. I don't know why, but kind of getting a little personal here. That song just, it's like nobody, you just got to go listen to the lyrics. It's a slower Nelly song, but it's one that encapsulates all, I feel like just a lot of the hard work that I do, like, and a lot of people don't see it, but that's okay because I know that I'm putting in the work.
Yeah.
And Nelly in that song, I believe he's talking about where, he started pretty much from nothing.
Yeah.
It was just one of those, like, I started from nothing and now I'm here. Like, all the stuff that I've been through, no matter what my past looks like, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah.
Like, because I put in that work.
Yep.
And I think that one is slow. It's not a banger. It's not something you just...
It's good, though.
It's good.
And
it's a good song.
Let me tell you, when you first, I didn't really think much of that song until you brought it up to me. And then I started listening to it, and I listened to it when I got my first job out of college.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect... it's a perfect reward yourself type song if you're
feeling down and you just feel like you've accomplished something
and you either aren't recognized for it or you're trying to be humble about it.
Yeah, and you just want to...
But you want to celebrate it a little bit to yourself. This is a really good song to do that. It's brought tears to my eyes after I got out of that job and got my most recent job. I played that pretty quickly after I got the job offer. And it's just kind of one of those things. So basically, the gist of it is, I can't believe I've made it this far my whole life. Man, I've been working so hard. And you just... At least for me, you get to a point where you're putting in all this work and you just feel like
nothing's
coming out of it, or you're not getting where you want to get quick enough, or whatever the case is. You're just feeling a little bit beat up.
It's just one of those songs, quite frankly, that you look back and you realize it's fine. Whatever you've been through, it's fine. Nobody knows maybe what you've been through. Someone that you're walking by past the street, or you're working side by side with coworkers or something like that. It's gonna be fine. Like, you know for a damn fact that you've worked your tail off and that whatever's gonna happen in your life is gonna be fine. And that's why Nobody Knows is easily probably one of my number one songs by him. Easily a top 5. So I've got Country Grammar and Nobody Knows. What's your next one?
So mine's a little bit of a toss-up for my next one, but I think I'm going to go with...
and you've got Air Force Ones as well.
Oh, yeah, Air Force Ones. My other one, it's one that I know literally every lyric. Every lyric. I know every lyric. Grills.
Yeah.
Grills, it's just one of those fun
features Paul Wall, Ali, and Jip.
Jip.
Yep.
Jip got them yellows, got them
Diamond got them
greens.
Yeah. Just to it's a classic.
It's so good. And that's all I've got to say about it. It's a good, solid track.
And quite frankly, it kind of embodies all of what the early 2000s rap. Like it's got a nasty beat.
And then
he kills it.
And he took a little, because he had Paul Wall, and Paul Wall was from the South.
Yeah.
They had so a little bit of music history for you, real quick.
Yeah.
Southern hip hop artists, you know, from Houston and from Atlanta. They have a music genre called chopped and screwed, where it's like they remix a song, or it's just, and that's where that robbed the jewelry store and told them to make me a grill,
like that type
it's
style.
It's like really
from.
slow, pitched down, and that sort of thing.
That's really cool.
And Paul Wall's obviously the influence on that little hook there. So anyway, yeah, grills for me for sure. That's number 3.
I'm thinking for me, so like I've said, I've got Country Grammar, Nobody Knows. My number 3, this isn't in order because so if it was in order, it'd be Nobody Knows so far, Country Grammar. These next ones are a toss-up, quite frankly, and I think that St. Louis has got to be on there.
Okay.
I bump that every single time I'm going to St. Louis, and I think it's underrated just because it's based off of St. Louis. Like, not a whole lot. Not the nation in the world is not gonna like gravitate towards this song, but this is definitely something that it hits the nostalgic feel. It's just a song that I can just sit back and kind of just reminisce on a lot of the memories going to St. Louis back in the day, and even now. Like, it's just a song I look forward to bumping. So that's my number 3 is St. Louis.
Okay. So I think I've actually, I've said Air Force Ones, grills. Is that it? That's all I've said, right?
Air Force Ones, grills. I thought you had Country Grammar.
Oh, yeah. Country Grammar.
So are you on 4 now?
So this is number 4 for me.
Yep.
This one technically isn't Nelly. It's the Saint Lunatics.
Okay.
Summer in the City.
Dude, I've been playing all this 2000s rap this past week. I've been really in the mood for it. And I cannot wait to play that song and just listen to it because I haven't played it. I forgot about that song. That is top of the line.
What's funny about that song, if you remember, Nelly had this Flash player game on his Nelly.net, and you went around St. Louis and you went and picked out clothes for him.
Yeah.
And then he drove his car that was featured in EI, and he ended up doing a concert at the Arch.
I remember.
I wish you would bring that game back.
You would throw like rings on the fat guy.
Yeah, you'd throw donuts on the fat guy.
That's what it was, yeah.
I can't swim. But
I can float.
But as he's driving in his car, a song plays, and it was just like this really catchy, cool song. Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
So yeah, Summer in the City by the Saint Lunatics.
That's a classic.
Fun fact: do you know what movie that was featured in?
No.
Osmosis Jones.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a fun fact that is. So that's your number 4.
It's number 4.
My number 4 has got to be the remix on his what was that? The Reinvention album. Mm-hmm. The remix of EI.
Okay. The tip drill.
The tip drill. But just the way that song, the EI bumps in so like boom, boom, boom. No, that's Country Grammar, right? Mm-hmm. That's Country Grammar. They did use that Country Grammar soundbite on the EI, and they mixed those two together. That's what I'm thinking of. So that, if you guys haven't heard that version of EI, you need to go listen to it if you want. So that's my number 4. And what is your number 5?
You know I've got to end it with another song that I know all the words to. most of the words. I fumble through a little bit of it. We listened to the edited version. Get off me.
I think I know. And I think this is my 5 as well.
Okay, we gonna talk about it?
Yeah.
I know you covered tip drill, but to me, tip drill
Wouldn't have happened.
without EI.
Right.
But because you covered tip drill EI, and you kind of also agree on EI.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's funny. It's funny. Because I think...
What do you think
you're missing. I think you're missing one.
Am I swinging and missing?
Yeah, you're swinging and missing hard.
Batter Up.
Batter Up is my 5.
And he has a really good remix on that reinvention for it, too. There's something about... I don't, both hit really, really good.
There's so
Batter
many
Up
good
is
songs.
so good.
It's honestly so hard to pick
Just five?
But I think that... No, this is... It was harder than I expected to actually pick.
All right, one
5.
more bonus one. Give me an obscure one. Mine is Izu.
Okay. Mine is River Don't Run.
All right. Check those out, guys. We will have in the episode description...
We will have a link.
We'll have a... I don't know if we'll have a link. We'll have a breakdown of the playlist, though, I think, right?
Yeah, we can do that.
We'll just put our playlist in, and we'll kind of alternate back and forth with what Connor and I covered. And let us know if we missed any. We're not covering Florida Georgia lines.
No, we're not covering his new stuff, quite frankly.
The only country collaboration that is appropriate to talk about when talking about Nelly over and over. And that is going to wrap it. Hey, rap something.
Rap something, Mo. There's just too many good stuff going on throughout this conversation. We could easily be talking for 3 hours about Nelly.
This is cheesy as hell too.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
It's gonna be fine.
That's all right.
This is the second episode. We got a lot to cover. You have a lot to cover, my friend.
And you know what? We had to get Nelly out of the way right now. We may do an album breakdown in the future, and we'll pick one album and kind of go through it.
I think you guys, if you want to hear that, you guys should send us at Wheat State Creates on YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. Wheat State Creates at Gmail. Send us something. Send us a recommendation on what to cover. We'd love to hear your feedback.
Indeed. We're about to wrap it up. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Stax of Wax, presented by Wheat State Creates. Like, subscribe, hit that bell, give us a 5-star review. Have a great evening.